what do you think will be the significance of international terrorism in coming years? Where do you think it will go overall from here?
In the short term, it only has up to go, because if you think about it, no people in human history have ever fought to lose. And anybody who has the most basic grasp of military science can see that in conventional terms, meaning tank on tank, rifle on rifle terms, nobody can come close to the United States, or for that matter, Western Europe, Russia, China, nation states. So terrorism, meaning asymmetric warfare, irregular warfare, can only go up from here in the short term.
And what do you think is the most important thing the United States and its allies can do in the long term to reduce and combat terrorism?
We need to engage in a war of ideas, and we need to actually engage in sustainable development. And I mean that in two ways. The war of ideas means we need to do more than just saying they are terrorists, they are bad. That's a good baseline, but that doesn't get you awfully far, because you need to get into debunking why their use of the Quran in certain aspects is wrong. And actually the more important part is we shouldn't be the ones doing the arguing. We need to let forces within their societies do it. And the sustainable development part, as I mentioned in my talk, that insurgency, successful insurgency, is ideologically driven leaders mobilizing grievance-driven masses. The war of ideas is to neutralize the ideology. Sustainable development, meaning building schools, farmland, basic economics, is to get rid of the grievances. So you're trying to both hunt the ideological leader and sap their pool of recruits. But this is a 50, 100, 200-year project.
Now, being a former JSAer, how has your experience in JSA helped you in terms of your profession, and what advice can you give a JSAer who wants to get involved?
I started with JSA in 2001. I went to the Yale Summer School, went back to Naperville North, where I was going to high school, and started the chapter, and off we went from there. But the greatest thing that JSA did for me, is to give me a chance to expand leadership abilities and to just engage in dialogue. Because all too often we assume that if you disagree with somebody, it's simply because they're wrong or they're pig-headed. It's usually because you're working with completely different assumptions. And JSA helped me to see that. And I would encourage all young JSA people to do not only more events like Congress, but to take your chapter activities beyond the partisan. Stop looking at, when Congress said this and when the president said that. Look at the underlying ideas. Those will help you in life far more than what's going on at this current moment. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much, and more information will be in the show notes.
Thank you for talking to us.